Hey, Dimitri. Okay, yeah, this thing's a beast, right? So I've got a version implemented, a couple things here. So one is, I really like the edges here. I think when I was imagining the end caps, I was imagining the end caps were essentially, think about visually speaking, like you have this nice like rough edge texture here, and that this rough edge texture would be basically kind of like a half tile, and so it would come across like this, right? And that way you don't have these fully outer edges. I mean, we have a little bit of roughing here, which kind of works. So I think what we're kind of missing is we're missing an outer left and right that is as noisy, and maybe like we can cut these caps down if we want here, but is as noisy and chewed up as these, right? So I think that, because then I can build tiles, because this feels pretty good, but I think that these tiles are pretty wide there. And that's one piece. And then what else did we have here? I already made the note about that we have an issue with the transparency export, so not a big deal there. Let me take a quick look at my notes. Okay, so there's that. Oh, the other thing too is that the original tiles in game are these ones here. These are smaller, so these are essentially what are these guys? All right, yeah. So the guys in the tile are in the game. They're smaller because they're smaller chunks of flesh, and you're shooting your way through them. So, and they this whole tile is 128 by 128. So these are smaller squares of 64 by 64 to make the tile the sprite sheet. So ours are at 128 per sprite sheet tile, so they're bigger in game. So not a big deal. We can just scale those guys down, but just so you're aware. So yeah, so I think that's the main stuff, but we're coming along nicely, which is super cool. So yeah. Other than that, I like the way they look. I got to still put the other ones together. But yeah, and I think that probably, I think the key here, right, is the way I was thinking about it too, is that here, right, that if you imagine this as the main center tile, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I was imagining is that the end cap tiles, so instead of these being like this, right, what you'd have is, imagine this being cut off, like these bigger edges, and that you have this rough edging that comes all the way, just like a half tile, right? Comes all the way around. And then this is your main center point, right? So I think that's probably the key piece. I think we can keep the other things we've got, and I don't mind the slightly bigger 9 slice tiles here. So as we can see here, right? I think those for the most part work. And I mean, this is cool too. But I think, yeah, I think probably just getting the number 2. Yeah, so all the so this tile, this tile, this tile, and this tile. Oops. That each of these tiles would be half tiles, and then we can make the modification to the edges too. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. We're making good progress here, and yeah, I think other than that, things seem to fit pretty well. I think we're pretty okay in that space. Yeah, these are gonna look great once we get them in. All right, talk to you soon. Thank you.